All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, as usual with me, Loyalist. And this is Colts Law. And the Indianapolis Colts finished the 2021 NFL preseason 3-0. What?
Heck yeah. Start hanging the banner, baby.
Man, it actually worries me a little bit that we started off with no losses in the preseason. I mean, because the last time we did that, we did not have a good season. I mean, that's just how it works sometimes. You know, preseason's a little weird like that. But to be fair, this is just showing our depth versus other teams' depth, basically, is what we've been seeing. And that says a lot about our depth, right? We've beaten all three teams. We beat the Panthers, we beat the Vikings, we beat the Lions. Now, it wasn't looking good early with the Lions. It wasn't looking good at all versus the Lions. You know, that first half, we were driving, but we weren't able to get those touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
What up, yeah. Matt Stansberry, early and often, $10 donation. What up, nerds? 3-0, baby. Winning is always good. Thank you. Also, Jordan Kennernecht, Minshew got traded to Philly for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't get that news. Philly got themselves a steal, and our old offensive coordinator, I think he could work with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And I seen that, and it's just funny. You know what I mean? You sit there and you hear how committed they are to Jalen Hurts, but then everything else they seem to do is showing that, we're committed to not being committed. You know what I mean? So I understand that Gardner Minshew is good competition and stuff, but I mean, wouldn't you wanted to do that before the preseason ended, if you really wanted to give them competition?
Maybe, but maybe he wasn't on the chopping block at the time. Maybe, they were waiting to see who was good, because they hadn't named a starter yet over there in Jacksonville. They just named the starter with Trevor Lawrence, and Minshew was up for trade. And there was a lot of people out here saying, that they thought the Colts should get the Gardner Minshew. I was okay. I like Gardner Minshew. I think he's a good quarterback, But poor Jalen Hurts down there in Philly, right? Matt Stansberry down here. Holy crap. R.I.P. Hurts, right? That is huge, because now it's, as Jordan says, it's Hurts, Flacco, and Minshew. And, I don't know about you, but that's got to be Minshew's job, right?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I've been impressed with what I have seen from Flacco, to be brutally honest with you. I know, he's not what you want to build your team around and stuff, but as far as if you're just basing it off of performance and stuff, which understandably Flacco's been out there running, sort of the same thing we're at, been running with some of these guys that are new to the league and not experienced. But yeah, Flacco, he's staying in the pocket. He's showing some mobility that, quite honestly, just seemed to have left him over the last couple of years. So, I don't know, to be honest with you, but yeah.
I get that Flacco, but at the same time, man, with that offensive line, you need someone who can move around, and Minshew has shown that, well. And I think he's got more of a grasp of throwing the football than Hurts does. I think Flacco's more accurate than either of the guys, but I like Minshew. I know Wentz says that Hurts has the job, but I don't know, man. Hurts probably has the job starting week 1, but keep an eye. Because, obviously, he's been there for, 1.5 years now. He understands the system better than what Minshew is, even with our old OC over there being the head coach. Because he's had all of the offseason to work with that, and Minshew hasn't. So I get that aspect. But just keep an eye. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to talk about Philadelphia and their quarterback issues. All right. We're here to talk about the Indianapolis Colts and the issues they have of getting into the end zone. We got into the end zone twice.
Yeah.
Twice in the fourth quarter with Hundley at the helm because our running backs, Benny LeMay and Deion Jackson, was able to run the football in the fourth quarter. Man, the Colts running back stable is deep, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would have to imagine that, whenever we start doing our roster cuts and stuff, that there's going to be some running back needy teams that are going, and defensive line needy teams that are just going to be eyeballing, some of our cuts, because from those two particular rooms, I mean, we are going to have to make some cuts that normally would have made this roster any other year. And that's a tip of the cap to Mr. Ballard and all that he's been doing with this roster over the last couple years.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be here while we record our news break clip for today as we break down the Colts Lions. So, for the next 5 to 10 minutes, we probably won't be in the chat, but I will get to the chat right afterwards. All right, guys? So, are you ready for this, Loyalist?
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome to Colts Law. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is Loyalist, and the Indianapolis Colts defeat the Detroit Lions by 10 points, 27-17, with a push in the second half by our backup quarterback. All right. That's right. Our fourth quarterback, Brett Hundley, goes out there, shows, you know what? He's got mobility and can control the offense as well. What did you see out of this game, Loyalist?
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, our first group of offensive linemen that were out there during the first quarter and stuff wasn't real impressive. We know that this is going to be a weak spot until we get some guys healthy and stuff. So we knew that going in. But honestly, I was hoping to see a little bit more, from some of these guys that they just didn't impress me. Even Chris Reed. Now this is the second game where there's overall he's performing okay, but there's just them plays where you're just like, what just happened? And that wasn't something I expected to see from Reed, because everything that we had watched through the film and discussed, he just seemed to be a very, very, he was the stone as far as the backups went. You know what I mean? So that was a little disheartening. But as far as the defensive pressure that we got, Kwity Paye getting back in there and getting that second sack, and that one, that was awesome. I don't understand. It looked like the quarterback was trying to drop back 25 yards, but hey, Kwity hunted him down and got the ball loose, and that's exactly what we are needing to see from the young, talented, defensive line that we, acquired and drafted over the last couple years. So yeah, I was very stoked on the defense.
Brett Hundley did a very good job directing the offense. Now his accuracy was a little, wonky, I would say, but being that you're the fourth quarterback and hardly get any snaps, those was his first snaps of the preseason period in the discussion, and yet still was able to make 2 drives for touchdowns to win the game for the Indianapolis Colts. And, obviously also directed that 2-point conversion to tie the game in the first place. Jacob Eason started off the game a little shaky. As I predicted, I figured that he would go about 1-4 and then start to, find his rhythm. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. Found his rhythm. Played till about the 2-minute warning, in which Sam Ehlinger came in, did the 2-minute drill, but left the game with a knee injury. And Coach Reich says it does not look good in his presser after the game. So we are all with ears and eyes open, waiting to hear the news from the medical staff to know what is going on with Ehlinger. But at this point, I don't think there's any doubt that Jacob Eason has definitely won the backup role to Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and the thing I was noticing was, we sat there and we discussed how he was dropping too deep in the pocket, and we felt like he was doing a disservice to the tackles and the situation. You didn't hear a lot of that this game, and he was man, he was staying in that pocket till the last second and releasing the ball accurately and stuff. And also, I don't know, I mean, I can't think of too many passes where you've seen him overpower the receivers, like we did over previous weeks. So I can see that the gains that he's, from week 2 to week 3 and stuff, and just seeing the progression that he's going in, and it's not small steps. I mean, these are noticeable, at least to me, noticeable, sizable improvements. So if we keep getting that week to week, I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid.
Another big news is that Frank Reich did put in a mention on the COVID-19 list stating, that Eric Fisher did test positive, but Quentin Nelson did not test positive. He was a close contact, so expect him to be back practicing probably later this week, as long as, he gets through a few positive tests and gets past that. So that's great news. He will not have to sit out the 3 weeks, as would like Fisher might have to. So excellent news in that situation.
Another piece of news that stood out to me was I mean, yes, the Sam Ellinger thing, but I think for me personally, I felt like he was secured as the third quarterback already anyhow. But the one that really raised an eyebrow for me was Des Patman and the foot injury, because he's in a heated battle. And what does that do? And so I'm interested to find out more information as far as what we're looking at with that foot and stuff, because that could be a huge topic of discussion over the next week or two.
Another battle that could have gotten some extra eyeballs from the coaches that hasn't really been spoken a lot about is that Sam linebacker position. And in the second half, Jordan Glasgow really stepped up and played solid in a game where the other linebackers just did not play well at all. They were getting beat off their blocks, being found out of position, and things of that nature, whereas Jordan Glasgow was finding his way through the wash, making tackles for losses, solid tackles. Again, making solid, secure tackles on a day where it seemed like the Colts defense was missing every tackle they possibly could. Only a few of those players were having a good day tackling. The rest wasn't.
Yeah, and the frustrating part was, man, it seemed like every tackle that, they didn't get, Detroit made us pay. I mean, the touchdown that, the running back forced in there in the second quarter and stuff. I mean, it's just Banigou has the quarterback wrapped up, and then he gets loose and releases a nice pass there. I mean, like I said, Detroit did their part as far as every time that there was a missed tackle, they definitely made us pay for sure. And on the Glasgow thing, I just want to say that's awesome because, I mean, I don't know what your opinion is, but I'm pretty sure he was going to make the roster just for the fact of his special teams. So it's good to see that somebody that was already going to make the roster stepping up in an area that, hopefully we won't have to rely on it, but at least it's nice to have that extra piece of depth there that, like I said, from a guy that was already probably going to make the roster.
Absolutely. Speaking of number 52, Ben was getting pressure, but he was missing a lot of tackles, and we saw that last week, against the Lions, where he lost a sack or two because he could not bring the quarterback down. I don't know if it's I haven't really gotten into the film very well. Like I said, the NFL Network doesn't have the All-22 up yet, so I ain't been able to check it out. I don't know if it's the way he's tackling, or maybe it's a strength issue. I don't know. But we're going to definitely have to get into that and look at that on a future date. But that is it for this news break update where the Colts defeated the Detroit Lions 27-17. If you're watching this, obviously on Newsbreak, please go check out my YouTube right over here. You know, the link is right there on my profile. And don't forget to hit the like button. Share a comment right there. Let me know what you think of the videos and what you thought of the game. And don't forget to share this right over there underneath where you see Loyalist, so that so that others can see as well. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist, and as usual, have a good one. All right, that was my news break clip. Thanks, guys, for being patient with me. I thought that was good. A lot of people jumped in here while we were talking. Chris, what's up, man? I never could pronounce your name, but, you know, it is what it is. Your last name, anyhow. Company Eagles in there. Brandon Wood, obviously. Afferny came in. Gorjan. Ninkovsky. My bad. Mr. J567 is in here. And, of course, Sway Boy. What's up, guys? Don't forget, smash that like button. It helps us out a ton, all right? And don't forget, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and tag that notification bell. Make sure all notifications are turned on, because YouTube is weird like that. You won't get notified unless you make sure all notifications are turned on, because you don't want to miss when we go live or upload a video, do you? I mean, come on, guys. What's up, Devin Ward? Appreciate you in here as well. Do you think Brett deserves the spot over Sam, considering what he did in the last half of the preseason game? Devin asks.
No, I mean, not based on that. Now, I will tell you guys that, you know, I mean, I was sort of, you know, I'm a fan of the fact that Hundley has some experience. Hundley has been in these locker rooms for the last few years. I think that's valuable. And I'm not saying that I wish an injury on a person, but depending on what type of information we get back from the Salinger, I mean, that injury may just answer all the questions for us without, you know, the play even mattering, to be honest, because like I said, Hundley just didn't get any opportunities during this preseason. But yet, you know, when we see him out in training camp and stuff, he's there constantly, you know, doing the drills, going through, you know, he's just not getting a lot of the reps, meaningful reps that, you know, that you would have hoped to have seen earlier. But I think that was understandable with all the question marks that we've had with injuries and stuff.
All right.
And I'll tell you,
go ahead.
real quick on that Bandigu thing, the tackling and stuff, you know, I've noticed he comes in so high. He's like a little out of control, but he always wants to tackle real high. And then the quarterback, like last night, just dip up under. And then, like you said, it's like his hand strength was just not enough to keep a hold of the guy. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to look at it closer, but that was something that just jumped out at me, was how high he was coming at these guys. Always trying to tackle them from the shoulder pads down instead of, you know, taking them at the hips.
On the Rise Colts podcast down here, smashing like the stream. Go Colts. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. KDC City says, do you think now that he walked out, especially with the way he played in the first half, and then, of course, the knee injury, do you think Sam Tevy makes the team?
No. I don't. I mean, you know, from what I seen from that injury and the way he reacted when he tried to put the weight on it and stuff, it seemed like it was fairly serious. I'll be honest, you know, if I was the coach, he had done nothing during training camp practices, nor, you know, preseason games to scream that he deserved a spot. I know, you know, we paid, I think it's $1 million cap hit and stuff, but Ballard's always shown that, you know, if you don't perform that stuff, I mean, it matters, but he doesn't let that be a deciding factor. So I could quite honestly say that depending on the, you know, the injury and condition and stuff, that he'll probably find himself a spot on another team, just because there's a lot of teams, you know, in our position where they need depth at the tackle position, and just not a lot of options to fill that void.
Well, let's see here. There's a lot to unwrap, right, with this Colts and Lions game. A lot to unwrap. Granson had a very questionable catch. I think he should have caught it. His first target by Eason. where the catch was away from his body, in front of him, the defender was in behind him, hit his hands, bring it to his body, then the impacts happen and it gets knocked out. But then after that, he started making those catches. He didn't let that happen again the rest of the game. I thought Granson actually showed improvement in this game as to what we have seen in the other two games. What do you think?
I agree completely. Yeah. I mean, and there again, he's a rookie. This consistency and just these are always things that, I mean, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I mean, that's the problem with rookies. You just, until they start building up their confidence and stuff, it's a play-by-play type of situation. I mean, you're going to have the good and the bad from him. As I sat there and heard somebody compare him to Eric Ebron, and I'm like, well, I hope his playmaking ability is every bit of what Ebron had when he caught the ball. But to sit there and compare his holding on to passes to Ebron, I would not say that because it's too early. I mean, it's just too early in his career to sit there and label him as that guy, justifiably so, I think.
Sorry, guys. A lot of questions about Des Patman. My question to you, does that foot injury put him in a bad situation in his race over Ashton Dulin?
Yes. Even if it's a short-term, injury that, he can recover, just every day that he's not on that field is missed opportunities. And, I mean, as close as this is, I mean, because the coaches have made it clear that they like what they see from Dulin and they like what they see from Patman. As close as this race is, man, I mean, I just feel like you've got to be out there every second of every chance. Now, if this comes back where it's a little dinger and he's back at practice the following week and everything, then awesome. I mean, there again, we don't know. But you could see, even on that long broken play that Ellinger got the pass off to him, you could see once he caught it and he was laboring and running and stuff, that it made me feel like that it might be more than just a day or two type of situation. But yeah, I think any time that he loses opportunities hurts him because of how tight the battle is.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, guys, as you saw earlier, we did our clip for News Break. If you want to support this channel, but you can't afford to use that link right down here at the top of the description for, a super chat or a donation, or you can't, join our Patreon, which the link is also down in the description. It's only $5 a month, but I understand not everybody's got money, especially in today's economy. Or the merch shop that we have also. There are multiple ways you could support this channel. But if you just can't do it financially, the best way of doing it not only is hitting the like, but also using that link in the description for Newsbreak. All right? Because it's a free app that allows you to follow us, check out local news, and it financially supports this channel. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Truett joins into the stream, says, late to the party, can we start over? Welcome to Colts Law. I'm Lawrence Owen, and with me as usual is Colts Loyalist. Oh, sorry. All right. So, man, like I said, there is a ton to go over. I really like Benny LeMay's ability to kind of keep his balance, keep those legs moving, kind of reminds me a lot of, what was his name? Back in the corkscrew diving touchdown. Back in the early Luck years. I can't remember his name. Vic Ballard. Yes, Vic Ballard. Reminds me a lot of Vic Ballard, right?
The thing is, man, I've never seen a running back that will stay in the hip pocket of his offensive lineman like LeMay does. I mean, you see him, and like you said, them feet are churning and everything. But there was times where I'm like, break it off just a little bit. You know, you got a wide open field, but he would just stay in that pocket. And the more I watched it, the more I noticed that play in and play out, this was his, this was his way of operating. And I like it. I like the fact that he stays tight to the blockers. And like you said, he's not, his game is more of the ground and pound type technique. You know what I mean? The let's bang out the first 3 yards without contact and then just see what we can do after that. And that I like that, especially whenever I think about goal line type stuff. You know, I mean, it's sort of like Jonathan Taylor. You know, it's going to take more than 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 guys to bring him down. So yeah, I like what I saw from LeMay, and I really liked what I saw from Anderson. Yes, or Jackson, Deion Jackson yesterday. He, like I said, I was super hyped about, when we, spent that little extra money and stuff and got him as a UDFA, and we really haven't got to see him a whole lot, even in camp. You know, I mean, we see him on the one-on-one drills and stuff, but we haven't seen a whole lot of reps with the game, action and stuff. So it was a blast to see him and see what he offers, in the Colts lineup and stuff also.
Shout out to Goki, Goki, just pledged his $5 to my Patreon. So thank you for being a new patron over on my Patreon. That is huge news. Appreciate that so much. There's a couple questions. Martin wants to know if we have a 53-man depth chart worked out. I am working on it currently. I wanted to wait until after the game. I didn't feel well while I was watching. About midway through the third quarter, I had to go to sleep. I just did not feel well. Woke up, slept hard. Woke up and kind of had to finish watching the game so that I could do this stream. But I will be working on that 53. We may discuss that in a live stream later this evening. I mean, that might be something that we might do after Loyalist does all his stuff that he's got to do. He's got family stuff he's got to get to here in the next, half hour or so, so he's going to have to end up leaving whether or not I stay or not, because he's got family stuff to take care of. So keep an eye out for that. Also, a lot of questions about Rock Ya-Sin, wanting to know if Rock's going to get cut. Now, honestly, no, Rock's not getting cut. Rock has had the best training camp over every cornerback. I think he's looked better than Kenny Moore in training camp. Now, did he look great in this game because there was a lot of catches in front of him? On the surface, no. But I'm wondering if he's doing what he's asked to do. Zone, waiting until the quarterback makes a move and then breaks, and making a tackle, afterwards. They're not asked to do a lot of PBUs. They're asked to tackle and not allow yards after catch. So I still need to look at the all-22 for that, because surface looks for cornerbacks and safeties aren't always the best look. But I think Rock has had a great training camp. And there's absolutely no way he gets cut. I don't care if he gave up 3 touchdowns today. He wouldn't get cut.
No, I agree completely. Well, not completely. I don't think that he had a better camp than Kenny Moore, personally. But I agree completely.
I think he did only because Kenny Moore has been covering guys like T.Y. Hilton and Michael Pittman, and he's given up stuff. Kenny's given up some big plays in training, big plays. Everybody remembers what Zach Pascal did to Kenny Moore. Remember that play? That was nasty. Yeah. Rock?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Pittman had a nice little highlight. But the thing was for me, it takes these highlight level plays, for Kenny to get beat. Whereas Rock is still getting beat by some less than highlight plays, we'll call it, So that's why and Rock has always done good during training camp and preseason. So I'm totally on board that we won't cut him. I don't think that, honestly, I think he's a starter. I think, not that we don't cut him, but I think that he starts, week 1. And that's where I'm really, that's where Rock has had most of his weaker performances is that, not on the practice field, not in training camp or preseason games. It's always when it matters the most. So that's when I'm really hoping to see some good things and see if it transfer from practice over to the game.
Oh, I just realized Goki, Goki, is the first two letters and the last two letters of the guy that's in here in the chat. Ninkovsky? If I'm chopping your name up, I'm sorry. But that's what it looks like your last name is. I'm an American, so I don't really pronounce names outside of the U.S. very well. But I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. He says you need more Patreons, man. And yeah, you know what? I mean, my Patreon is still pretty new, and I'm still waiting and working, but I do a lot of Patreon streams, and I do a lot of Patreon-only stuff that goes up there. So, I'm trying, but in order to do that, I need more followers and subscribers to my other stuff so they know about my Patreon, So, still kind of working my way up, Loyalist and I. Working our way up through the hierarchy that is YouTube. So, how many sacks and tackles for loss do you think Pay will make this season? Devin Ward asks.
See, now I'll tell you right now, I was more of the 5 to 6 sack guy. And I'm trying not to sit there and get overhyped over what we saw the last 2 preseason games. But I will say that I believe the speed that he has displayed is more than what I thought we would see going in to week 1. So to sit there and say that I don't think that number is going to bounce up to more closer to an 8 to 9 range, I think would probably be somewhere where I would sit. And I know that's where you pretty much started, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Quiddy was thinking 8 to 9. So, yes, I've gone to the way of Lawrence again. But what has your number increased, I guess, would be my next question.
No, because I don't think Quiddy Pay is going to have the snaps that everyone thinks he is. And also remember, Quiddy's not playing against starters generally this entire preseason. He's been going up against backups. All right. When you go and we play against some of these teams, he's not going to be going up against their backups. He's going to be going up against their starting left tackle. And those guys are paid big money to protect their quarterback against guys like him. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I still say 8-9 sacks, solid for a rookie season. If he hits double digits, that's a huge plus and a chance for him to get defensive rookie of the year. Because generally, I'm not saying that I'm not predicting that to happen.
I know.
I'm saying, that's what he would need for that to happen. He's not a guy that will be out there every snap. There's just, it's not going to happen. But because first off, that Eberflus loves to rotate guys in and out and keep them fresh throughout the game. Every game, all game. That's why we have 10 defensive linemen on our 53-man roster. 1/5 of our roster is defensive linemen.
That's just like with DeForest Buckner. I mean, he came to us from San Francisco, and he was in the high 80s, low 90s as far as percentage of snaps. He comes over here, and I mean, he's still one of the most used defensive linemen that we have, understandably so. But even so, though, my point is his percentage of snaps has gone down compared to what he was used to in San Francisco. Like you said, our defense is so based on hustle and so based on keeping these guys fresh, keeping them out there. I mean, yeah, Quiddy's not going to get the snaps. But the thing is, the snaps he gets, he's been making them count, and that is awesome.
Also, you're not going to have guys take 5-step drops out of shotgun.
Yeah.
General starters are smarter than that. So,
yeah.
I expect him to make the most of his opportunities, though. Unlike Ben Banigou, as we talked about earlier, where he was not making the best of his opportunities. He's getting pressures, he's getting hits, but he's letting the guys, just slip right out of his arms, Another guy that I think has really upped the last 2 weeks in preseason games, what I've seen out of him, just out of his hustle and that not give up even if he misses on the first play. Isaac Rochelle.
Yes.
Man, he's got a motor on that dude that does not stop.
Yeah. And the reason I react that way, guys, is I've been an Isaac Rochelle fan for a while. And Lawrence was more on the, well, let's see, but yeah, I agree with you. His motor. I mean, I used to always think that Nico Autry always got what I refer to as the cleanup sacks, and I see a lot of that with what Isaac's been out there because, like you said, he may not get there in 2.5 seconds, but it's that 5th, 6th second when the pockets broke down and the pressures forced him out of the pocket and stuff. That's where he's really, really been good at cleaning it up. We saw him. Was it the first preseason game or the second? I think it was the first one against the Panthers, where he just came in and just looked like he tripped over his feet when he's got the quarterback, zoned in, ready to destroy. I noticed this last game that he was still aggressive, but he was more under control, more ready to make the play. And I think that Banigou, that's sort of what he lacks is, it's like he knows now, okay, I can get there. But when he gets there, he's still sort of, little Harry Carey with his control.
Alpha Wolf's like, whoa, I saw the thumbnail and thought this was a recording. Good morning. What's up, Alpha Wolf? It is a recording. It's just we're all psychic and we know exactly what you're going to say in the chat.
There you go.
Yeah, because we know you guys so well. Oh, anyhow, I'm glad you was able to join us, man. Brandon says that Sean Davis, the rookie, looked pretty good and solid downhill tackling. You know what? Sean Davis did a great job yesterday. Sans one play. One play. He got toasted. There was a player, I think it was a running back that was coming up, and that rookie had him dead to rights, dove right, perfect, dove for the hips, everything, got sidestepped, got nothing but air. Nothing but air. But outside of that one play, I think he did a very good job.
Yeah. What do you think is going on with the tackling? I don't understand. Our team has always been really good at tackling for the last couple years, especially. And is it, do they all have a meeting and just sit there and say, okay, guys, we're going to get there ready to make the play, but I don't understand how a team can sit there and be so solid in an area such as basically as, tackling. And then all of a sudden it's just like everybody's coated in oil or something. I mean, even like George Odom. Okay. I can't remember the last time I seen George Odom go so head down to make a tackle as I did that one where he got leaped over. You know what I mean? I was like,
I just realized something. I think I know why they're missing tackles. I think they're going for this forced fumbles. Using the helmet to try to knock the ball out, hitting high, trying to swat around. When you go for the ball, you're not wrapping up properly, okay? And when you don't wrap up properly, then a guy can squeeze out, okay? They've been talking about all this entire preseason and off season about, they're wanting to get more turnovers, more forced fumbles, more interceptions, things of that nature. But doing so and just being, blindly going for it will, turn into a lot of missed tackles in doing so. So they need to be a little bit smarter about it than that. But that, to me, from what I'm seeing in the game, like I said, I don't have the all 22 right now. NFL, get that fixed. so I could go look at that and give these guys exactly the information they're looking for. Okay, but anyhow, that's what I think is actually going on, man.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, and I know, I mean, I understand that these are, fringe roster guys, a lot that we're talking about, but I mean, that seems like something that once you start noticing, it just sort of snowballs, like drop passes. You know what I mean? It's like once you start seeing a guy drop some passes, all of a sudden, it's like contagious. You see the next guy and the next guy.
Sargo Milano, what's up, man? He asked, who do I think the odd man out is for the receivers? Depending upon how bad the injury on his foot, Patman might not make the team. Tariq Black, I didn't think he was going to make the team anyhow. Played well, but, just too far down the depth and didn't make big enough splashes. Same with Tyler Vaughns, And did you notice they tried both those guys out on returns in the game last night?
Yeah, which we've been seeing at camp and reporting. But, yeah, I mean, the only person that we didn't see and we saw in camp doing returns was Marlon Mack. Even in any of the preseason games, he didn't get any action as far as a return. So, yeah, I mean, I felt like Tyler Vaughn was, I felt like he was on the upward tick, but I can't think of anything, of a single play where it stood out to me, whether it was blocking or catching, that was like, hey, okay, I'm out here rocking it, And I do remember seeing him in some of the special teams, but yeah, like you said, during the gameplay, I didn't see a whole lot from him.
40 guys in here. 40. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we upload a video or go live like we plan on doing later today to talk about our 53-man rosters. It's a plan. It ain't set in stone yet, so just keep an eye open for it. Don't forget to share this stream, man. If you guys got social media like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, something like that, there's a little share button right beneath Loyalist right there. Go check that out, man. All right. There's another question, and you guys know if you have a question or comment or want to support this stream, there is a link right in the description, top of the description right here. All right. You can use that. It's much better than the YouTube super chat, okay? Because it gets us darn near all the money that you donate rather than only like half of it. After next question, I got to get in here. Anferny. Lamb. A Lamb. There's a Lamb in the chat, and it is always in the chat. LeMay Jackson have any chance of making this 53-man roster? And I'm going to let Loyalist take this because he knows my answer as well.
Yeah, and not unless we find a trade partner for our Marlon Mack or Jordan Wilkins. I mean, quite honestly, hopefully we can stick one of them, on the practice squad and have them. But, there again, that's a vulnerable spot. Yeah, you can save a player 3 times, but that 4th time, he's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. But, yeah, as far as our starting 4 on the depth chart, Jordan Wilkins, I mean, nobody had any massive fall-offs. Nobody had anything that screamed, okay, this isn't working. So aside from them getting traded to another team, whether it's, giving Jordan Wilkins a better chance to succeed or whether somebody just offers us too much for a Marlon Mack, to pass up, I honestly see that Wilkins, Hines, Mack, and Jonathan Taylor are going to be our stable of 4. Now, the practice squad, yeah, I can honestly see us trying to maybe even both of them because I think LeMay was more of a surprise than Anderson or Jackson. Why do I keep calling him Anderson? Than Jackson. But, yeah, for me, I think we'll just stay with the 4 probably.
Yeah, I'm going to agree on that. I don't know if both of them make the practice squad. I mean, there's 16 slots there now. So, but you're going to probably want to drop a couple defensive guys on there and a couple offensive. You're going to want both, right? Might end up, depending upon, how bad a certain quarterback's knee is, he may end up on that. I mean, if Sam Ellinger's knee is bad enough, he might end up getting dropped on the IR. We don't know. We're waiting on knowledge for that. Devin, he's asking about Minshew and the Eagles. We talked about that earlier, right at the beginning of the stream, actually. So you're welcome to go check that out. The little timeline bar down here, you can always click back, see what we said. I mean, it was right at the beginning of the stream, and then come back to live if you want, or you can go check it out after the stream is over. It's all good. Either way you want to go about it. Goki in here, and I'm going to call you Goki, my guy, says don't risk Marlon Mack on special teams. And I'm going to agree. Now, he was our kick returner when he was a rookie in second year. All right. And we've seen that through training camp early on. But I think they're giving these young guys who's showing potential a chance, right? And I like that. That's going to help make decisions a lot more difficult, really. What can these guys do to provide extra stuff? Like Jordan Glasgow. I mean, he's a guy who's been a special teamer since he's been here, and yet now he's showing that he could play Sam really, really well, And I think special teams, believe it or not, might have helped him play the Sam better. Because when you're, playing special teams and you're out there on kickoffs and punt returns, for tackling, you're trying to weave through, get off blocks, things like that. Everything's happening real fast. People moving by you real quick. That's exactly what he needs to do, sitting there at the Sam. He's got to set that edge and make the tackles get through the wash. And he was showing that he could do that last night. And I'm very, very proud of Jordan. I said I thought Glasgow had a shot at the Sam linebacker earlier this year. When I had some guys on here, I think it was Zach Hicks, I think, was on the show, and he just kind of giggled a little bit, and it's like he's more of a special teamer, and I was like, I know, but, and we'll see. He showed some stuff that right there. Alpha Loyalist says, let Anderson go.
Do what? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Alpha Wolf in the chat says, Loyalist, let Anderson go.
I know, right? I'm trying, man. Sometimes this thing works without any control.
Have we talked about Bolton, Alpha Wolf asked yet? No, we have not talked about the interception or the dance that Darius Leonard was doing on the sideline as soon as Bolton got that interception, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, that was just a pure. I mean, that was first off, it was a bad throw by the quarterback. I mean, it looked like it was more of a pass to Bolton than it was to their wide receiver. But yeah, the fact that he was there to make the play, that's all he can. That's his job. You know what I mean? And especially in that zone coverage, is just to be there and to capitalize and yeah, I like Bolton. I don't think that he makes the squad, but I mean, I do like the energy and just the excitement that he brought for the whole sideline. Like you said, what was it? Blackman and Darius just sitting there, just celebrating like it was, one of their starter brothers out there doing it, So yeah, I enjoy how this team works and celebrates. I mean, everybody from the first guy to the 90th guy, they celebrate everybody's victories and you don't hear a whole lot of this, negativity coming from them or even in their actions. So yeah, I was pleased with Bolton. Like I said, it was nice, because that for me was the final. Okay, boom, we won this game. That was when I was like, okay, good, we're there, because our defense wasn't really stopping a whole lot of what the Detroit Lions were trying to do yesterday until there towards the late third, early fourth quarters.
Man, boy, it's going to be difficult getting through what I need to talk through. We're going to end up killing the stream in about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Loyalists will end up having to leave anyhow. As for me sticking around, that depends upon how the chat's going and all that neat stuff. But A. Lamb says, can't wait for September 12th at noon. Can't wait to see what this team can do. I will be there at that game, actually, as long as I can find my way through Indy, because I don't know Indy very well. Mr. J567 says, what about Kafusi? Sometimes he looks great. Sometimes he doesn't look like he knows what the heck he's going on. And I agree 100%. There were plays out there where Kafusi completely screwed up the whole play and missed everything. And then there was other plays where he made a splash tackle or something, So he's a guy I think could end up on the practice squad because he does have the ability. I think he needs more experience.
And they've got to quit putting him in a position. They've got to quit putting him in a position to set the edge, because I don't know if he knows what the edge is.
No, the edge is a sideline to him. Alpha Wolf says, I think Sachere flies around the most from the young guys, though. I like him. I love Andre Sachere. I said that last week. I am actually incredibly surprised that he even played this game, because he suffered a concussion at the end of last game. So for him to get through concussion protocol and be able to play, not only is a huge boost, it's a huge boost on multiple levels for him, right? Being able to show more tape and stuff. The guy's been around since 2018, bounced around practice squad to practice squad, and now that he's here, maybe it's just the system. Maybe it's Eberflus's system that just allows him to go out there and play fast and hit hard.
Yeah, because, think about it, guys. This system, it is about keeping it simple, about keeping, the only brain work per se is, checking your keys and reading your keys. But after that, it's just a full throttle, attack the ball type defense. And so that works out a lot, especially for the younger players. They don't have nearly as much clutter in their head and stuff that they have to worry about. Somebody I wanted to ask you about is Chesley, number 47.
Yeah.
What did you think? Because I felt like he, had some decent plays last night that, do you think he makes it on the practice squad?
Practice squad, maybe. Again, man, that's when I make my 53, I'm making my 53. I'm not making practice squad list.
Okay.
Because there is so much out there. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys show promise, but then, you're like, but there's a lot of people that show promise.
Yeah.
Chesley is one of those guys that he showed a few good plays, but there were some plays last night kind of very similar to Kafusi, okay, where he showed some pop plays, but at the same time, he found himself out of position a lot of times as well, okay, and that is a problem. So we'll see. We'll see. What's up, Harrison?
Do you
Donald
think,
Shelton, what's up? Go ahead.
Do you think some of these guys being out of play and stuff is more of because Flus wasn't out there for the last couple of weeks and getting in these guys' ears enough? Do you think that has anything to do with it, or because
that
Colts
could.
have always, because the Colts have always been good at filling empty spots in the coaching staff with the scheme. So I guess I wonder how much of that comes into play.
Yeah, that is a good thing to talk about. He's also one of those guys who wants you to play 110% every minute that you're on the field, every second that you're on the field while the game is live. So I'm sure that the other coaches pick up on that and do that as well. But, the way Eberflus just pounds it out there on the practice field is Pace said it best,
Yeah.
It seems like when it's game time, everything is a lot slower than what it is during practice because Eberflus has you just going, and you have a second to breathe when you're on the field. Darius Leonard says it. We practice like we play, and apparently they practice harder than what they play is what Pay is saying. So
the best part about that whole statement was watching Pay, because he started to say it, and then you could just sort of see him like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he was all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Practice is tougher. He's like, now I'm going to have the team's gunning me.
This is, I'm sorry, dude. A Lamb, come on, man. Will Wentz have more interceptions or touchdowns this season? Touchdowns by far. All right. Last year was the first year in any season that he threw more than 7 interceptions, or 9. I think 9 might have been his max, but generally it's like 7, 7, 7, 7. Last year, he had no team around him, and the Eagles were like, we're putting everything on your back, and you have to play with a bunch of high schoolers. Okay? Go out there and beat, the big boys. And of course, you're going to have situations like that. Wentz is going to be fine. I promise you. Wentz is going to be fine. Was it Ellinger or the other quarterback who sailed that pass when the wide receiver was pretty open? Truett asks. Which time? Because there was a couple times when it was sailed.
I know Hundley had a
couple of them. Yeah. Hundley's accuracy is all over the place. Sometimes he could put it right on the money. Sometimes it's way off the mark. He's like really wide. His scrambling ability is legit. I mean, just straight legit. And he's got a cannon for an arm. But yeah, that Ellinger play, that Ellinger 59-yard pass. Now the pass wasn't 59 yards, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's like, he threw a 59-yard pass, and you're saying he don't have a strength. Okay, in the air, it was 30 yards. And did you see the rainbow?
Exactly.
It was a 30-yard rainbow. Now, it was amazing. Ellinger showed what he's, the plus that he brings to the team in escaping that sack, rolling out, and throwing that pass. But that was a 30-yard in-air rainbow that was then caught and then ran down the field another 20 yards. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I had, I don't know why, but I just wanted, you remember the touchdown pass to Reggie Wayne in the Super Bowl? That's sort of what I thought of.
When Peyton Manning, when Peyton Manning's like, you're so wide open, I'm just going to drop it in there. There's no way you could drop this pass, Yeah.
And that's something, I'm glad you said that. That's something about the whole Carson. I think as long as the receivers don't have a lot of missed opportunities whenever they have the chance to catch the ball, I think Wentz will keep it, like you said, I think that he'll keep under 10 interceptions on the season, even with the extra game.
I'm sorry, repeat what you just said.
As long as the receivers don't, there's not a lot of deflections or bobbled opportunities where a defender gets a second chance at it and stuff. I don't think that Carson's going to throw even 10 interceptions for the season, even with the extra game.
Yeah, I agree. Donald Shelton said if Carson Wentz had thrown that that pass, that would have been a touchdown. But Jacob Eason, same thing. They would have got the ball there a lot quicker on a rope, and he would have had plenty of time to run down the field for a touchdown. I agree, Donald.
Only thing that might have kept that ever from being a touchdown was just the fact that you could, like I said, even whenever he was trying to get under the ball to catch it, you could see that he was limping and laboring with that foot already.
Alpha says Eason almost had Vaughns deep in the end zone if it wasn't knocked out. Are you sure you're not talking about the Michael Strawn pass right there down the sideline? Because I remember that pass for a touchdown, and it was a good pass by Eason, and Strawn got both hands on it, but the defender was able to rip one arm down, and Strawn didn't have the arm strength and hand strength to go up strong to catch that. That's a pass that he should have caught. I think Strawn should have caught that ball. And that, yes, that should have been a touchdown, in my opinion. I mean, that's what Strawn's there for, right? To make catches like that. In this game, he didn't show up very well against early in the game against the better competition. He showed out later when Hundley was in the game and was making catches along the sidelines and things like that and making those 50-50 catches. Great. I was happy about that. But I mean, I need to see him do it against better competition. What are your thoughts?
That's exactly what we're gonna see, because they're gonna put him on the roster. He's gonna have a few plays, and yeah, like you said, I mean, because the one I know the one that you're talking about on the right side in the corner of the end zone and stuff, but the one that worried me more was the one where he was going down the field early in the game, and it was a 50-50 ball that looked like, I mean, Strong got up in the air. It just looked like he didn't have the aggressive attacking style to get that ball, and make the reception. And that was a concern because, like you said, that's his, I mean, hands down, that's going to be his biggest asset his entire career is, can you go up and get these and physical your way through? So, yeah, but I think that we're, once again, guys, he's a 7th-round draft pick. I mean, yes, I know everybody's excited and stuff, but he's a rookie. He's a 7th-round draft pick. Let's just let this guy, get in there, get some good live bullets at him and see, give him a year of practicing and stuff. And let's see then, let's judge him at the end of the year, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he's got time. Like you said, he's made strides. He looks better now than what he did early in camp. Early in camp, he looked awful. He was dropping everything thrown at him. Now at least he's making some contested catches. So I'm very happy about that. And he wasn't getting separation early in camp either. You could tell he was a 7th-round pick, right?
Yeah.
But now he looks more like a 5th-round pick. Is what I'll say. Toxic. What's up, Toxic? Fuzzy's in here as well. Guys made it all the way at the end of the stream. Over an hour now. Loyalist is going to have to bow out shortly. It's all good, though. At least you made it. You made it in time to hit the like button. Please? Please? Anything else you want to talk about yesterday's game?
Not off the top of my, I mean, we pretty much covered everything. We had a good showing from the defense. I mean, aside from, okay, we had an okay showing from the defense because of the tackle. Okay, but I mean, as far as the pressure, the things that we were most concerned going into this preseason and stuff, as far as getting pressure on the quarterback and stuff, very pleased. I mean, we didn't get to see a lot of reps from Tyquan Lewis and, some of these guys. So, yeah, I was happy to see Toure out there. I was hoping to see a little more from him, but all in all, we got to win, and we got to get some more information to fill up our database with.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to kill this live stream. We'll probably be back later this evening, sometime between 6 and 8 o'clock. Kind of go over our 53-man rosters, what we picked, and we'll sit here and chat and talk with you guys. Banagoo got a lot of reps. Toxic says, building game stamina for the season, ? And that's possible. That is a good part. Will Davenport be a good gap piece for left tackle until Fisher gets back? Shelton says, I thought Davenport played okay. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being in the live chat. Much appreciated. And I think it's time to let Loyalist go so he can go do his thing with his family. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.